Android has 20,000 applications. Does that bode well for other platforms? We talk about some of our favorite apps with some of our favorite people, Doug Aamoth from CrunchGear and Kevin Tofel from jkOnTheRun.
Try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. Visit gotomeeting.com/techpodcasts.
The year of the smartphone is coming to a close. Of course, next year, a lot of things bode on the horizon. Among them, a more robust Android marketplace. We're seeing 20,000 applications as of now. We wanted to talk with some of our favorite people about their favorite applications for mobile and how mobile apps have sort of changed their everyday experience, especially now that they're so ubiquitous. Now, Doug, it's been a long road for some people, like Palm Pre users. On the other hand, Android is huge. What platform are you using, and what applications are you digging on?
I'm currently using the iPhone 3GS, but for a year before that, till sometime in the fall, I was using the T-Mobile G1. So I've used them both. And
out of those two, I mean, obviously the iPhone is sort of the app place du jour, if you will. What sort of applications are you using on a regular basis on the iPhone?
I'd say, like, if people are looking to pick a platform based solely on the applications, if you're looking for casual gaming or gaming of any type, I would go with the iPhone. But as far as straight up apps go, I had a lot I use more on the T-Mobile G1 just because you can hook into the operating system more deeply. So, like, you can use Google Voice on Android. You can use I used a program all the time that would do a reverse lookup of whoever was calling me and stuff like that. You can't hook into the iPhone as deeply. So, but the games on the iPhone are amazing. I don't use my Nintendo DS or anything like that anymore. I just bring the iPhone. I play all the EA Sports games and Scrabble and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Apple's been positioning it as a gaming console of sorts, and especially the iPod Touch, most notably, but of course the iPhone works just as well. Kevin, when we look at the Pre, I'm also a Pre user. I know you use the Pre on a regular basis, and I find myself kind of being left out of the app revolution when it comes to that. I got to stick to my iPod Touch, which I kind of carry around with me with one of these MiFi cards when I actually need to use some productivity. Believe it or not, I'm that crazy and hardcore. What sort of applications are you using on a regular basis on both the Pre and other platforms in general?
That's a good question. I'm again in the same boat with the Pre. I bought it back on June 6th or whatever day it was that it first came out. And I was excited at first by the WebOS paradigm shift with the cards and all that, but I'm totally not enthused with the lack of applications. And it's not so much the total number of applications. In my mind, guys, we can talk 100,000, we can talk 30,000. It's a handful of good apps even, just by major third-party services. There really aren't any yet for the Pre, and Palm is held back on their SDK. That should be changing very soon, but I have to carry an iPhone 3GS everywhere because it's got my favorite apps on it. So in a sense, I put my Palm Pre on notice. If I don't see a change in the next month, I'm probably going to grab an Android device myself.
Yeah, so when you're using iPhone 3GS, I mean, it's pretty funny that we're basically in the exact same situation. We want to use, I really dig the Palm's interface. I really like the way, I like the device itself. I just can't, you can't use any other applications for it. When you're using the iPhone 3GS, are you a gamer as well, or what sort of applications are you using on that one?
Probably less of a gamer than the two of you guys from the sounds of it. More of a productivity and social networking kind of guy. One thing I'm using every day, I'm using Runkeeper on my iPhone 3GS, which uses the GPS to track my running. This is I'm out running 3, 4, 5 times a week. I like it better than the Nike Plus sensor, even though it uses more battery because of the GPS. I like it better, though, because I can actually track things manually. I can use it for cycling. You can't do that with the Nike Plus, for example, so that's a big plus for me. Wi-Fi Photo is a great little 99-cent app, too. It takes photos off your iPhone and creates a little web server, and you can transfer photos wirelessly through any web browser, Mac or PC, so that's another big one for me.
That definitely is interesting. I feel like the applications that I tend to use the most, I just use regular IM stuff, which isn't actually another application on the Pre, but I'm always in IM trying to fix problems or whatever, deal with stuff. I play some games on the Pre as well. Dope Wars, which is on everything from calculators to iPods to, I'm sure there's going to be a Nintendo DS version at some point. No, I'm playing that. I don't know, other specific apps. It's hard for me to really say because I feel like I play games on the iPod Touch that are the air hockey game. I don't even know the name of it, but I'm into that as well as some other things. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Doug. We mentioned all these different applications. Is there any other highlights that maybe we haven't mentioned that you look at and you say, this is the application that people should know about?
I don't. I mean, if there's an app that's popular enough on the iPod Touch, iPhone, eventually, once the developers port over to say Android, it'll eventually show up there if it's popular enough. I think there's kind of a chicken and the egg scenario with, especially the Palm Pre, the Palm OS, and to a certain extent, Android is just getting developers on board. And it seemed like with Palm, they came out and said, okay, here's this new platform. Go ahead and start developing for it. Without actually, you got to entice developers to come over to your platform. So you have like these revenue splits where it would seem like for the first year or two, maybe on a brand new platform like Palm's new platform, you should say, hey, for the first year or two, you can take 95% or 100% of all the revenue from your apps. And then after 2 years, maybe cut it down to whatever the standard is, 70% or 75%, something like that. So just to get more apps in place, you get more users to use the phones and stuff like that.
That's a really good point. I mean, I think Palm would behoove them to listen to you, Doug. Kevin, looking to the next year,
It won't.
They won't, of course. But looking to the next year, if you had to peer into your app crystal ball, what do you sort of see as next year's big trends? I mean, is it more augmented reality stuff that's sort of started to pop up this year? Is it, is it just any sort of general moves you can kind of foresee on the horizon?
I think augmented reality is kind of hot, but it's not going to be mainstream just yet. It's a little too out there for folks, and I haven't seen enough of a value to use it on a regular basis personally. I think you're going to see a continuance of location-based type systems and software services. Foursquare is I use it. I mean, I take the iPhone everywhere because of Foursquare. Check in here, check in there. I'm the king and the mayor here. Ooh, ha ha. It's that's where it's at because it's fun and it's adding value. You can find reviews and tips and tricks and things like that for local places.
Awesome. We're gonna leave it there. Kevin Tofel from jkOnTheRun. Thanks for coming on the program, man. As always, I think you're our most frequent guest according to some internal.
I'm the mayor.
So you're the mayor of Tuxie. Go figure. And also, Doug Aamoth from CrunchGear is thanks for coming on the program as well.
You got it.
I'm Randall Bennett, and catch you next time. Don't forget, we're on iTunes, we're on YouTube. Mobile apps are a big lack for TechView. So if you're an iPhone or Android developer and you're like, I love this show and I want to contribute, dude, write us an app. We'll totally hook you up. I'm just saying. Anyway, see you later.
This show brought to you by Zazzle. Use promo code TechVShow10 and get 10% off any order over $50 from Zazzle.com.